They've always said what matters is what you eat. But what if the real secret wasn't in the food itself, but in the order you place it on your plate? Recent studies show that two people can eat the exact same dinner with the same calories and still have completely different insulin and fat-burning responses. Sounds absurd. Just wait until you understand why. Few people realize it, but the human body works like a living library. Each meal is like handing new books to a librarian called insulin. When she receives too many at once, sugars, bread, sodas, she tries to organize everything. But when the shelf gets full, she pushes the excess under the rug, turning what's left into fat. And it's in that quiet gesture that accumulation begins. The problem isn't insulin itself, it's essential. The danger lies in the insulin spikes, those constant surges caused by hourly snacks, sugary coffee, or innocent cookies. Every time the level rises sharply, the body switches into storage mode, and when that happens repeatedly, the metabolism learns to store instead of burn. It's like living with the light switch permanently on, except this light signals fat storage. Picture an ordinary person, like Anna. She doesn't eat excessively, but she grazes all day long. A little bread at breakfast, juice with lunch, a sweet treat in the afternoon. At night, she feels hungry again. Why? Because those insulin spikes never let her body rest. Her body doesn't burn, it stores. And what gets stored first? Visceral fat, the kind hidden deep around the organs. Controlling this switch changes everything: energy, focus, sleep, even mood. But it raises an intriguing question. If the body has learned to store, can it be reprogrammed to release? The answer comes when we understand what visceral fat truly does inside us. Visceral fat is deceptive. Unlike the outer layer we see in the mirror, this one hides between the organs, silent yet active. Scientists call it a disguised endocrine tissue because it constantly produces inflammatory substances. It's like a low-burning fire. You don't see the flames, but you feel the heat draining your energy from within. These ongoing inflammations create insulin resistance, raise blood pressure, and affect the heart. Studies from Harvard Medical School show that people with higher visceral fat accumulation have up to a 70% greater risk of developing metabolic diseases. The body starts operating in emergency mode, prioritizing defense instead of regeneration. And when the body lives in constant alert, fat becomes the bulletproof vest against hunger that never comes off. But here's something interesting. This process is reversible. When insulin naturally starts to drop again, the metabolism disarms the alarm. The cells stop holding onto glucose, the body begins using fat as energy, and the weight finally starts to respond. It's as if the library regains space, and the librarian can finally put each book back in its place. Small actions change entire systems. The point is, lowering insulin isn't just about aesthetics, it's about metabolic survival. And there's a simple, natural, and scientific way to start this process, using something most people have at home but underestimate. A single spoon of vinegar can trigger a powerful chain reaction, and this is the first hack of our journey. Before revealing the first hack, a quick request. If this content has already opened your mind to how the body truly works, subscribe to the channel. This way, you'll keep learning how to use science in your favor, in a simple, practical way, without any miraculous promises. Now, let's move on to what really changes the game. Sometimes the simplest things are the most surprising. Apple cider vinegar, a longtime kitchen staple, hides a powerful effect on insulin spikes. When diluted in a glass of water and taken before meals, it slows down the absorption of carbohydrates and makes insulin rise gradually. It's like trading a tsunami for a calm tide. Small habit, big difference. The secret lies in acetic acid. It activates an enzyme called AMPK, responsible for improving insulin sensitivity, the same one the body triggers during fasting or physical exercise. Studies from the Journal of Functional Foods show average reductions of 20% in post-meal glucose and nearly 19% in insulin levels. In other words, vinegar helps the body do what it already knows how to do, balance itself. But there's one detail few people mention. It only works when it's natural, with the mother, that cloudy layer inside. 1 tablespoon twice a day is enough for beginners. And if the taste feels too strong, using a straw solves the issue for your teeth. It's simple, inexpensive, and according to those who apply it, the effects show up within a few weeks. The key word here is consistency. When the body learns to avoid spikes and maintain blood sugar control, everything changes. Hunger decreases, energy stabilizes, and even sleep improves. But there's a second trick, even more intriguing, that transforms the way the body reacts to food without removing anything from your plate. It's about how you eat, not what you eat. Most people think losing fat is just about eating less, but the body is far more sophisticated than that. It reacts to the sequence of foods. The food order method shows that the order in which you eat completely changes the fate of glucose in your blood. It's like watching the same movie, but with the scenes scrambled, the story feels entirely different. When you start your meal with protein, like meat, fish, or eggs, the body releases GLP-1, a hormone that slows digestion and softens the insulin response. Next come the vegetable fibers, which form a kind of natural shield, and only then do the carbohydrates enter the stage. This simple adjustment can reduce glucose spikes by up to 40%, according to research published in Diabetes Care. The result is a more stable flow of energy, no more post-lunch sleepiness or sudden afternoon hunger. People who follow the food order method report better focus, a steadier mood, and even improved physical performance. A short 10-minute pause between each step is enough to let the hormonal signals do their job. Small pauses, big results. Here's a practical example. Imagine your plate as a symphony. Protein is the bass that sets the rhythm. Vegetables are the violins that create harmony, and carbohydrates are the grand finale. Eating in this order teaches your body to orchestrate sugar with elegance. But if you want to see this effect amplified, wait for the next hack, because what comes next turns your meal into pure fuel. Save this video right now, because what comes next may sound too simple to work, but it does. The post-meal walk is one of the most powerful habits for maintaining blood sugar control and promoting natural fat burning. Just 10 to 15 minutes, taken 15 to 30 minutes after eating, are enough. No running, no sweating, just light and consistent movement. When we walk, the muscles activate transporters called GLUT-4, which pull glucose from the blood into the cells without needing insulin. In other words, the body uses sugar as immediate energy instead of storing it. Research from Diabetologia shows that this simple gesture reduces glucose spikes by up to 17% and keeps insulin sensitivity elevated for up to 24 hours. Want to see how practical it is? Imagine finishing dinner and, instead of heading straight to the couch, taking the dog for a walk, strolling to the corner, or using a compact treadmill while watching TV. Small actions, big cumulative effects. Besides improving metabolism, this walk lowers cortisol and enhances digestion. It's the body returning to its calm and focused mode. And there's a subtle bonus. The consistency of this ritual creates a mental anchor. It's the body understanding that the meal is over, that the energy is being well used. In the end, the simple act of walking becomes a bridge between food and balance. But there's another kind of bridge, the one that connects metabolism to the mind. Few people connect one thing to another, but the brain feels every insulin spike. When glucose rises and falls abruptly, neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine fluctuate along with it. The result is anxiety, irritability, and a constant feeling of emptiness. The body craves sugar, but what it truly wants is stability, both chemical and emotional. Studies from Stanford medicine showed that people with greater glucose variability report up to 40% more mood swings and reduced focus. It's like trying to drive with the headlights flickering all the time. When insulin stabilizes, the brain receives a steady flow of energy, and the mind becomes calmer, less reactive. It's not magic, it's biochemistry. Some people discover this through experience. John, for example, replaced his habit of snacking on sweets with complete meals that include protein and healthy fats. Within a few weeks, he noticed that his afternoons were no longer a battle against fatigue and anxiety. It felt like someone had turned down the volume of the noise inside, he said. Small chemical victories can change big stories. Controlling metabolism is, in a way, controlling mood. When glucose levels balance, mental clarity increases, emotional appetite decreases, and the body begins to cooperate with the mind again. But there's a hidden factor that enhances all of this, a pillar many people overlook, and it determines the rhythm of our energy. Many people try to fix their diet, but forget what happens when the lights go out. Sleeping less than 6 hours a night reduces insulin sensitivity by up to 30%, according to the University of Chicago. It's like trying to drive a powerful car with the handbrake on. The body wants to perform, but the metabolism stalls. During deep sleep, hormones like leptin and ghrelin find balance. One controls satiety, the other triggers hunger. When rest fails, that balance disappears. The result is stronger sugar cravings, lower energy, and a noticeable drop in metabolic health. The body starts the day at a deficit, even before the first cup of coffee. But there's a practical way to reverse this. Setting consistent sleep schedules, avoiding screens at night, and aligning meals with natural light create a circadian reset. It's the biological clock ticking back to its natural rhythm. People who adopt this simple habit report greater focus, better mood, and even higher efficiency with the other hacks. After all, there's no point in controlling insulin spikes if the body is constantly exhausted. Sleep is the invisible conductor that orchestrates all other systems, and when it falls into sync, the 3 previous hacks become even more effective. But the real turning point happens when all of this becomes a habit, and that's where the power of consistency lies. Most people want quick results, but the body doesn't work at the pace of urgency. It works at the pace of repetition. The real secret is to start small and stay consistent. 1 hack per week is enough for the body to learn the new language. In 8 to 12 weeks, the metabolism begins to respond. It's the cycle of consistency, the silent engine behind lasting change. Think of it as training a new reflex. At first, it feels like effort, but soon it becomes instinct. A glass of vinegar before lunch, the right order of foods, a light walk, each micro-action sends a message to your body. You are in control, and that control changes everything from the inside out. 1 step at a time, and your body starts to trust you again. Many believe discipline means rigidity, but in truth, it's freedom. When the right choices become automatic, you free up mental energy to live better. That's when metabolic health stops being a goal and becomes a lifestyle. With every meal and every good night of sleep, you reinforce the identity of someone who chose to take care of themselves. Controlling insulin is controlling the body. The phrase may sound technical, but it holds something deeper. It's about regaining power over yourself. When you understand that consistency beats intensity, the process stops being a struggle and becomes a legacy. But what if there were a way to unite all these pillars, body, mind, and sleep, into a single purpose? Controlling insulin is like adjusting the axis of an entire system. When it finds balance, the body stops living in defense mode and begins to operate in expansion mode. That's when natural fat burning happens, not as a promise, but as the consequence of a body in harmony. Less hunger, more energy, more clarity, everything in its own rhythm. The 3 hacks, apple cider vinegar, food order, and the post-meal walk, are simple but powerful tools. And when combined with proper sleep and emotional balance, they form a complete circle of metabolic health. It's not about cutting pleasure. It's about reorganizing the internal chaos created by modern life. Science confirms it. Practice proves it. But here's an important reminder. This content is for informational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice. Results may vary. Always consult a healthcare professional before making significant changes to your diet or exercise routine. Taking care of yourself is an act of responsibility and also of freedom. So tell me, are you going to keep living on autopilot, or will you choose to understand what your body has been trying to tell you for years? Start today. Try 1 hack, see the difference, and then share your experience in the comments. And if you want to keep learning how to turn science into a lifestyle, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Your body will thank you.